Welcome back to everybody, attendees of the 2017 NRA show. And we're live at the Veridian booth for the Just the Facts stage, where every segment is being filmed by our new Veridian Fact camera technology, weapon-mounted cameras, HD cameras. And I'm joined today by Dusty Sroufe from Taurus. Dusty is the head of new product development. Dusty, how you doing?
Good, yourself?
Great, great. Glad to have you here. Well, let me say, first of all, that Taurus has got some really cool stuff out. I've been down to their booth and everything. It's been really amazing, the stuff that you've got out down there. And you're in charge of new product development and probably have the coolest job at Taurus. Can you tell us a little bit about how somebody like you gets a cool job like that? I know there are people here that would die to have a job like you have.
Yeah, well, first I want to remind everyone it's a job.
Yeah.
So, you know, people say, hey, so you get to shoot all day long. I'm like, well, there's a point where shooting's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
You know, we're controlling explosives in our hands. So while it is very fun, it beats most 9-to-5s, but still a job, and absolutely love what I do, and most of us do. So we get to control or design really cool product for a great industry, for a great group of people, the customer.
Great. Yeah, I remember we talked a little bit at EWA, and you had it's a little bit different crowd at EWA than it is here, isn't there?
Absolutely, yeah. So, you know, and that's why it's so important to know your customer and be so customer-centric. You know, something we might design for the U.S. is going to be completely different if we're going to design it for Europe, for Latin America, anything like that.
Right, yeah. When we're in Nuremberg, we're talking to a different crew than we're talking to here at Atlanta, so we kind of have to tailor the message for them, don't we, when we're there and doing that. Well, tell us a little bit about where Taurus has been. People like to hear a little bit of history and the development of products and everything over the years, and then we'll get into where you're going.
Yeah. Well, you know, Taurus is in a very unique position. So what we're trying to do is, like I said, reach out to the customer and really develop product that is for our customers. So as everyone knows, Taurus is a Brazilian-owned company. So a lot of the product development has been done down in Brazil, you know, and not necessarily by, you know, a U.S. person that understands our industry. The gun industry in America is different than any other gun industry in any other country. So when you talk about designing product for the U.S., then you kind of need to understand, one, be a customer. We all shoot at home. We don't just shoot at work. We go home. We read about other products. I'm a gun enthusiast. I love a product from probably every company in this room. So it's important to understand that everyone makes great stuff.
Right.
So really to understand the industry, understand firearms, understand the accessory side. So that's what the focus now is at Taurus. So I've been with Taurus for about 2.5 years, and I was the first hire to come in and create a product development group with Taurus from the U.S. So first time in all of Taurus history that we have U.S. engineers from the industry. We have people from the big names in here, so with lots of experience and just vast knowledge of firearms and all of the other supporting accessories and ammunition and stuff like that. So that's the big push with Taurus is let's control the product that we release for the U.S.
And what do you see the trend as when you say you're developing new things now and you're in charge of this crew that's doing that? How do you gauge those trends as to what's best to build? What are you going to design, and how did you come up with that?
Yeah. Well, in today's time, we have so many useful tools that are new. So we have the Facebooks, we have Instagrams, we have a marketing team that goes out there and gets this data so that we can use it in product management and product development. So when we look at demographics, when we look at what are the new calibers, what are, you know, what's going on from a aftermarket sense, the accessory side. So there's a lot of different aspects that go into creating guns for today's market. So, you know, from my standpoint, when I talk about new product development, I come in and say, okay, there's got to be something. Where are we going to take this industry? So from the Taurus side, I want to lead the industry in innovation and product development. I want to take something like the Taurus Curve that we have here, or I'm sorry, the Taurus Spectrum that we have here. The Curve is also a great innovative piece, but the Spectrum is really solving problems that have always existed. So if we can solve problems for our customers, then, you know, we've done something and we've made better product.
Okay, so you'll go and maybe talk to customers that you've had in the past, or you'll gauge what they want and try to create something for them based on, okay, we like this, but it has a problem with that, and then you'll go and try to create that product that fits that niche.
Yeah, and you know, we build user groups, so we'll have some user groups come in and say, okay, this is a product we're building. How do you use it? What feedback do you have so that we can take that and put it into the product? And it's very important from a creative side, from a development side, to be able to swallow your pride and understand that there are other needs than your own.
Right.
So that's what makes good developers good developers, is listening, understanding, and saying, hey, what does the customer want, not what do I want? So,
you know, it's so crazy in the firearms industry. We were talking about training and how important it is just in training with a firearm not to train in a bubble, to get outside ideas and everything. And it's really something to think that it isn't just true about training, it's also true about how you design and where your next ideas are coming from and the innovations that you come up with. You can't do that in a bubble. You have to go to the outside.
Absolutely.
You have to try to pull on those ideas to do it, because you guys might not have the best solutions in the house.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The more input you can have, the better the product's going to be. So, for instance, we have the Spectrum here.
Yeah, let's check that out. Let's show everybody the new Taurus Spectrum right here, folks.
Yep. So the Spectrum is our new micro 380 pistol. It's 380 calibered. What we have here is a white with a black overmold here, stainless steel slide and barrel finish. So the Spectrum, it introduces a lot of new things. What we wanted to do was solve a lot of the inherent problems that come with a micro pistol of this size. So some of the problems that I've seen with this, they're small.
Right.
They're kind of a bear to shoot. So a lot of times you're shooting this gun, you're like, oh, you know, it feels like it's going to come out of my hand. I don't feel safe shooting it. I feel like there's not enough grip and texture to hold on to it. So a lot of times you'll find that they sit it down. They may still carry it, but they didn't put the practice time in so they feel confident with it. Well, we wanted to solve that problem. We wanted to build a gun that you can take to the range and shoot hundreds of rounds, boxes of ammunition, and walk away and say, I feel confident with what I carry. So a lot of the ways we did that is we teamed up. When we talk about other people's input, we teamed up with an industrial designing firm that helped us a lot with the ergonomics. We had people who went to school for human factors. So the ergonomics have all been attacked from with numbers and reason and logic, and then the aesthetic too, the aesthetic approach. As engineers, we can make things work really well. We're great with math and equations and all that. When it comes to making something look as appealing as a Spectrum, we put that in someone else's hands. So, you know, we used a Poly One, who is very familiar in this industry. We used their ID group, and they come up with a lot of this design. You can see here, the slide is like no other.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful.
I think we're the first company to address the slide from an ergonomic point. There's no slide serrations. What we've done is replace the slide serrations with these nice indents, which also happen to follow the body line of the pistol. So it's not just making a pretty gun, but making a gun that has these aesthetic features that are also functional. So, you know, no serrations. We go in and we put these slide inserts that are a rubber, like tacky slide insert. So what it does, it gives you a positive feel there. Not only that, but you have the indentation. So now you have a perfect shape to put your fingers in and manipulate the slide, whether you do it overhanded or, you know, from the back there. So not only that, but we talk about the usability. We did a lot of work to develop a recoil system that was super light in the racking. So at our booth, we have a lot of people come by and said, can I just rack it? And that's the one thing they look for. So when you talk about gun development, someone might be after I just need a gun that racks, I can rack with my hands. I have weak wrist, I have arthritis. So if we solve that one problem, we've made a gun for someone.
Sure.
So and there's so many aspects. The Taurus Spectrum, 380 caliber, is a true double action only striker fire gun. And you can, we have a long trigger pull, and it's about 7 to 9 pounds, and that's the safety on this weapon, because there is no manual safety.
Okay.
So it's that peace of mind to carry. When you're carrying it, you want to make sure that, you know, it's ready to go when you draw, but it's also safe to carry.
Right, because the extra trigger pull, I mean, you know it's not going to discharge when you don't want it to. So.
Deliberate pull, that's what we're looking for. And so talking about the trigger, we have this nice wide flat face trigger. So a lot of the times, you know, from a big company like Taurus, we look at a lot of the aftermarket community, and what are people doing? People these days are taking their own guns and messing with them themselves. You don't even have to go out to an aftermarket community. So we looked at a lot of what they're doing, and we took a lot of that when we developed this trigger. So what we have is a really wide, flat face trigger.
Okay.
And which helps.
I got a camera here, folks, on the end of this gun. That's what this is. We're going to get close-up shots of that.
So with this trigger, what we found is when you have a wide, flat face trigger, not only does it help with finger guide your finger and help to get good placement, but also is very comfortable to shoot under recoil and just doing that dry fire. So when we talk about practicing and becoming comfortable with your carry gun, you know, this is another aspect of just having that full-fledged design that's ready to go out the box. You know, more about the gun, we do have this overmolding technology. So we did a lot of work developing this overmolded material. So we use a word durometer, which is basically the measurement of the softness of the rubber. So there's a lot you have to do to make sure that the rubber's durable.
Sure. Yeah, because you're dealing with solvents, you're trying to clean the gun, you want to make sure that that'll adhere to the frame, I'm sure.
Yeah, and you know, women like to carry it in their purse, whether it's in a holster or not. We want to make sure that, you know, if we're going to make a nice aesthetically pleasing gun, that it keeps that condition.
Absolutely.
So our rubber is hard enough that it can survive any kind of damage or wear, but it's also hard enough that it doesn't pull lint from your pocket. It cleans well, but soft enough to actually do its duty of keeping a nice grip retention and provide some recoil dampening here in the back.
Nice. Again,
helping with that 380 caliber micro pistol. So going to the range and, you know, having the ergonomics, having the grip where you need it, so the gun, you just feel safe shooting it.
You know, speaking of ergonomics, why don't you put that mag in and show everybody how, you know, comfortable that is as far as a grip when you've got that mag in there with that finger groove at the bottom of the plate too, because that's that just, if you want to stick it in there, we'll show it.
Sure. Well, this is a game changer.
Yeah.
So what this is we call this our pinky recess mag extension. So instead of having a flare that goes out, we've made a pinky recessed. If you look at your hands, your pinky is the shortest finger. So there's no reason it should jut out. So what we've done, we've introduced this recess feature. So when you come on and grab it, the pinky actually falls into its natural position.
Oh, wow.
Which really helps you. We thought it was going to be only comfortable, but what we found is when we had people go up and shoot in the range, that the follow-up shots were where they should be. They followed the first shot. So a lot of people under recoil anticipation will grip the gun harder.
Right.
So which basically makes them drop the muzzle down.
Pulls the shot down.
So so a range gun. You know, we want to make a range gun that's a carry gun. So you can practice with this at the range. It does hold 7 rounds, and it also comes with a 6-round magazine. So we get 2 magazines with the gun, and this, I mean, it makes the shooting of this gun so comfortable.
Now, as accessories, if you wanted more of those with the recessed pinky contour on there, you could, of course, go to your website, or you could go to the dealer, and you could actually purchase. If I wanted 6 mags like that, I could get that.
Yes, and that's both magazines. If you needed more 6 rounds, 7 rounds, we all like to have lots of magazines. So absolutely, you know, there's our Taurus aftermarket accessory magazines.
Now, is the white the only color it comes in, or does it come in a plethora of colors, or let's talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So one of the big things with the Taurus Spectrum is the spectrum of colors we offer. Right here we have a white subgrip component, and then it's overmolded with black, which is also here in the slide. And then we have a stainless steel finish on the slide, barrel, and our other metals. So we've taken, you know, a lot of people say, well, we've been doing colors a long time in the gun industry. Yes, so is Taurus. But we wanted to take it to a new level where we're not color washing guns, but we're color splashing, so accenting guns. So, you know, white and blacks. You know, instead of assuming that every female wants a Pepto pink gun, we can have a nice white, and then we've done like a rose quartz color. It's a little more sophisticated than a Pepto pink, but you know, really trying to offer more sophisticated, more aesthetically pleasing guns. So, to your question, we have white, black, gray for the subgrip. The overmold comes in the huge array of different colors. I think we have somewhere around 30, 40 colors.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Wow.
And then our metals are offered either in the stainless steel finish you see here or a black melanite coat.
Okay.
Both base materials are stainless steel. So we have stainless steel materials. We have the highest grade of polymers. The rubber here is permanently fused in the overmolded process. It's not glued on. It's permanently fused, chemically bonded.
Wow.
So it's there forever.
Wow.
And we've done tests to try to pull it off. It's not coming off.
Well, we've also partnered with you on it too, right? You want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, you know, when you're developing a hot product, you always want to make sure that you have the aftermarket community involved. And Veridian is obviously someone we work very close with. And you guys have already made a laser for it. We tested it. You know, this past week, I probably shot 3,000 to 4,000 rounds on the Veridian laser for the Taurus Spectrum. So it's still on there, still shining. We're still hitting, you know, the impact. So
that's what we like to hear.
Yeah. So you know, it's all about being ready. Not only the Spectrum, but having your holsters, having the lasers. So being ready to support that entire ecosystem of the aftermarket.
Right, and the nice thing I like about that too is it's so narrow, it's so concealable. You know, you can carry it IWB, OWB. You know, it's just very concealable. It's very narrow. It's very lightweight. It's just a really good all-around gun to carry, a little good micro to carry. So, you know, with our laser on there too, you'll be able to use the instant-on technology and just make you that much more accurate and get your lag time down that much more with an already excellent product. Now, what are these going to be going for?
Sure. Well, what you have in your hand there is one of Taurus's base models. So we talk about base color models. So this gun right here, a gun that's so feature-rich. Actually, MSRP is at $289.
Wow, that's great.
It's amazing.
Wow, and how high can these go?
Well, the color model's MSRP $309.
Really, that's it?
Yeah. So you should be
What
able
a great
to find.
value.
Oh yeah, you should be able to find these Taurus Spectrums under $300.
And they've obviously been torture tested by you guys. You just talked about firing thousands and thousands of rounds through them. So you're happy with the product, and I know we're happy with the product. Working with you on the development for the laser. So. Man, this is amazing. Well, Dusty, it's been great having you up here, and we really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And thanks so much, and thanks for your partnership.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Take care.